What's up? Welcome back to Imperfect Voices vlog number 2. Today we're kind of going to have a two-parter because both of these voices are very similar. If you can do one, you can definitely do the other. So I figured today we would talk about Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Elmo from Sesame Street, because both of those characters, basically the same voice. One of them is just in a higher range. So for this Meatwad, you don't really have to close off your nasal passages at all. This one is all in the throat. You're basically just going to be closing the top of your throat when you start speaking. Might take a little trial and error if you've never done it before. But you know, you close off the top of your throat and you're speaking, and you just kind of like close it off ever so subtly, and then all of a sudden you just got Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, right? And I'm just like, hey, Frylock, I'm just trying to be here and like play some toys, or you know, dance to some cool MC Chris song as MCP Pants. But yeah, so closing off the top of your throat range fairly easily. So all you gotta do is really just talk like close. The way I don't even really know how to explain it, but it feels as if I'm starting to close the nasal passages, but at the very top of the throat, right? So the nasal passages that allow you to kind of breathe in and into the back of your throat, and then you just get this voice right up here. And then for Elmo, just to get a little more in depth, all you gotta do is kind of raise your voice, and then you go from something low down here, or like you're just talking in a local range, and then you go up here, and then you're talking like Elmo. And then if you really have a problem with someone, you just basically say, fuck off, Rocco, because Rocco is one of the most annoying characters that, you know, anybody has ever thought of. And the fact that we even have to deal with a character like that, it really makes no sense. So yeah, you can go from Meatwad to Elmo relatively easily. One is just higher than the other. But, and if we're going to be practicing voices, I'm going to just stay in Meatwad. I'm going to go back and forth between Meatwad and Elmo. And I guess I'll just talk about New Year's resolutions and why they are still important and people do not take them seriously enough, at least in my opinion. So for me, this vlog is actually one of the things that was one of my New Year's resolutions, and I got started on the first episode, you know, a little early. I actually did it at the very end of 2024, maybe 4 days ago. But and this whole thing is really just so that I can practice voices and make sure that I'm speaking conversationally, so that when I get into my Dungeons and Dragon groups, or whenever I'm, you know, narrating books for people, I'm able to just jump right in. I can keep the voices that I've known forever. I can base characters off of different voices I've heard, as long as I'm practicing them and making sure that I'm able to, like, you know, conversationally speak or become the character that I want to become. So I guess if you're really just trying to go back and forth between a lot of voices, especially if you're going to be narrating audiobooks or like fantasy books, it's just good to be able to know exactly which voices you were able to get into before.
And always just making little notations about which voices you were using for which characters. So that's part of my big New Year's resolution, is just making sure that I have at least, by mid-year, I would like to have at least, I don't know, 300 voices that I was just able to drop into, just on a dime. And that I just have to be able to practice and make sure that I know exactly, do I close off my my nasal passages, my throat? Are they speaking in a slower vocal way or vocal tone? Do they have a slur? Like, which speech impediments might they have in order to create this character or recreate the character? And then as I jump around, I'm just able to, like, fall into each of these voices that I'm going to be using for different characters.
So, I feel like if you have a New Year's resolution that you really want to get into, you really have to plan. So before starting this vlog, I actually I made a spreadsheet of all of the different voices that I already know. So there's gonna be like Meatwad, Elmo, we did the peasant in the last one, but I accidentally called it the peon. I also got a really mean,
I got a really mean Shaggy. Like Zoink Scoop, it's your boy Casey Kasem.
You know, just being able to jump back and forth and being able to practice that, because your voice is as much of a muscle. So take New Year's resolutions going into the gym. That's most people's, right? You want to be healthy, you want to lose some weight, you want to get bigger. Those are muscles, and you might not have as much muscle as you would like to have. But if you actively practice, your muscle's going to improve. But it takes time, and it takes the willingness to practice, and it takes, you know, just all of these little things rolled up into one.
So what I'm going to be doing is actively flexing my vocal muscles in different ways every day in order to make sure that these muscles can have muscle memory going into each one of these voices. That's really what this vlog is about. And if I'm able to, like, teach you guys a little bit of something, hell, that just makes my life a little bit better. And even if nobody gets anything else out of this, I'm going to get something out of this, because it allows me to flex these vocal cords that I probably don't use enough. I mean, I'm sitting there in my bathroom a lot of the time, and my girlfriend, fiance, she'll just be wondering why I'm fucking talking to myself in goblin voices all the time. And it's specifically because I want to have that goblin voice for a Dungeons and Dragons character. For a little bit of time, the group I was working with, they had 4 different goblin children that they were traveling with that they had saved in a cave and had just kind of taken along with them. So I had to make sure I had some voices ready for them. So it took a little practice, and I like to stare at myself in the mirror, and I like to, when I'm speaking in these voices, I will actively think about what I'm doing with my my throat, my nasal passages. Is my Adam's apple, like, affecting the voice at all? I know there's so many muscles in here, I just don't know the proper terms for them. I'm going to be studying this as well, just so that I can really delve into the topic and make sure everything that I'm saying makes sense. Because I know at the beginning of this video, I'm kind of like,
yeah, you just close off the nasal passages at the back end where it feels like they're connecting to the throat, and then you got Meatwad, and then you raise your, and I'm just spacing the word completely, man. You just go to a higher register, and then you've got
Elmo, and then you've got Elmo, and of course you do have to change your vocal, or at least your speech patterns, in order to really communicate that it is that character. Because if you listen to them enough, they do say things in specific ways, and, like, you hold your voice in different ways, and you're just able to, you know, become them. Do you know how much gas costs?
I listened to the voice actor for Elmo, do a lot of those interviews. And then when Rocco started showing up, heard a lot of those Rocco conversations. Like,
Rocco's a rock.
gonna have to splice these two videos together. I need some good USB-C cords, because or a new phone, or just something to like make sure that the cords stay connected all the way, because sometimes, man, the car will bounce, the USB-C will get loose, stops the video instantaneously. So, but those are the voices I've got for you today. Go ahead and practice those. Try and close off the top of your nasals from your throat so that you can still breathe enough.
You just kind of, you know, it's all back here. It's all in the back up here. And then you get Meatwad.
And then you just raise the tone, and you've got Elmo.
But yeah, should be good. Easy enough. And thanks for watching. I'm Ethan with Imperfect Voices. And I'll be back next time, guys. I am about home. But you guys have a fantastic day and do something nice for someone. I'll see you later.